Hey, hey, we are live and I am with Michael Ray. I'm super, super excited to introduce you guys to him. I was very fortunate to meet him on LinkedIn, and I'm going to let him say hello, and then I'm going to come back and embarrass him a little bit and tell him what I think about him and why I love him so much. So this is Michael Ray.
Hey kids, how you doing? Excuse the hair. I was living the dream in the car. So good afternoon, everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so he's the guy who gives me a smile every day, and I absolutely love that. And he's also got an amazing daughter, Maddie, that he does beautiful work with, and we'll bring her up in a little bit here. But here's the cool thing. So Michael and I connected on LinkedIn, like I said. You know, in 2 seconds, he's a different guy. So part of what I got you on here about is we're going to go a little bit deeper today. If you don't know Michael, he is the Smile Project Louisville. And we're going to let him talk about that. But what I'm interested in is a lot more of his passion, his commitment, his authenticity, him as a dad, him as a man, and why he's still doing what he's doing when it costs him money on his own lots of times. And right now in the world, we're going to get some support and help to Michael and Maddie to keep the project going because it's huge and needed. So do you want to just kind of start a little bit with who you are and how the Smile Project started?
Yeah. So Michael Ray, I just turned 51 a couple of days ago. So
You're in the badass club.
I never embraced the birthday week, but here we are. So, but
Welcome.
I'm the father of 4. Maddie is 21, and she truly is the inspiration as far as why I'm here today. She's the inspiration because even though she has Down syndrome, which is pretty normal, it's not normal to be nonverbal when you have Down syndrome. So when you've got that intellectual, disability and disconnect, and I often tell people as parents, we take, for granted, we hear those 3 simple words, I love you, from your child. But when you don't hear it, but for me, I always heard it in how she spoke to me nonverbally, and that as I look at her was through her smile. And I really never knew how it was shaping me as a father and as a man until I guess I was ready. I was ready to take the next steps, in my life. But it was always that constant, no matter how down I was or depressed, it was always that uplifting moment for me. So even though that was present, it took really another thing to converge, and that was just what we do in our normal daily lives and our routines. And I happened to roll through a drive-through. I rolled through a Wendy's drive-through in the morning, and where I was in my life, I was in the mortgage industry. I had been for a long time. I knew I was literally getting ready to lose my job. And as we process things in life and we go through challenges and we intersect with strangers, we don't know how uplifting that can be. So for me in that moment in a Wendy's drive-thru, it was just that. It was Chantrell, and it was that simplicity of 30 seconds and how beautiful that moment was. But again, never really knowing it because we do it all the time, whether it's the coffee house or Wendy's or the grocery store. So for me, it was that moment. I laughed, and then I pulled over and I actually cried because I knew what it meant to me in that moment. And I still have a hard time at times when I process and think about it, because we have these God moments. If you've got faith in your life, I knew God was speaking to me. And as I sobbed as a man, I was like, what are you trying to tell me? Yeah. Here. And the only thing that I knew in that moment before really any of this took shape was I had to go say thank you to Chantrell. And I don't know why, as I said thank you and we laughed a little bit more, I took a picture with her. Yeah. But again, never knowing that then a couple of days later that I needed the social interaction, I needed to start smiling with strangers. So as it birthed for me at that point, I was craving the social interaction with strangers. And I think it was God's way of putting these strangers in my life where we were collectively for like 5 minutes, just laughing and smiling. And I always got something amazing about the person I was with. And I started sharing it to social media. And then I found myself, after doing it for about a month, was like, wow, look at how this is being received now by people who see these two total strangers that are sharing a moment and going, look what's so wonderful about this person. And that's then, now roughly 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
where the journey started.
Yeah, so you just told me a ton, right? And it's beautiful. And this is what I want everybody. Like, I want the megaphone, right? I'm a cheerleader. I've been cheerleader my whole life, right? I'm like, I want everybody to hear all these pieces. And so I'm Sherry St. Marie. People know me as like the massive heart, right? And I get emotional and I like could cry through this whole thing with you because it's beautiful. And so here's the thing. First of all, when you check him out on social media, please, because when you see him on social media, he's a great big, huge, like bodybuilder, But also, I knew when I watched his eyes and when I watched him with his daughter for just 2 seconds, I saw the guy and the dad. And so for me, what connected where I go, oh, no, I want to do something totally different with you. It is that I want to say to everybody watching, and also particularly to dads and to men, for you to say the part and get it with your daughter about how do I connect with her entire life as you're raising her and growing her and loving her and helping her know she's special. And my daughter's been a huge advocate of Special Olympics her whole life. Like my Katie is a big one on it. But like, I loved that as a parent of like, how do I love and nurture and make sure my child is amazing? You have had a very different visceral experience with your child, both for you and for her. And I love the fact that you are sharing and showing with the world. These are amazing, gifted, talented people, Maddie, right? As an example, which is beautiful.
It is. And again, when you talk about evolving, 21, and I hate to admit it as a father,
That's okay.
Probably the first 10 years of her life, I was present. It wasn't like I was a bad dad, but I didn't get enough out of that relationship. Are you laughing at me?
Good for you, Maddie.
But I do understand. And then it just took the willingness, I guess, to accept where I was, and again, wanting to grow and find out how you grow to change as a man and a father.
But that's what I love about you. Okay. So 1 second. What I love about you is you are letting me live right here show a man who's willing to do that. And it's amazing and it's beautiful. And we're all on a path, right? I think dads are so hard on themselves, and you guys have a tougher road sometimes because you don't get the same loving up and let's talk about it and it's okay and your real feelings are okay. And privately, that's a lot of what I've done in the last 4 years is hundreds of conversations with men in private for this exact reason, right? But like, look at you, and I think that growth is gorgeous, and we're all doing the best we can live, and I love that you can share and talk about it. And you're an amazing example of doing something about it and doing the work and enjoying the celebration about all that, And none of us know what we're doing. We're participating with kids who are hopefully.
But that's the beautiful thing about it is we're living this life. There is no handbook.
Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm glad she's laughing at you. That's exactly it. That's what we're doing. You want to know something? And it's like, sometimes as parents, there's so much weight on us, right? Because we have to follow and fill and fix everything. So you and I have both had a couple different challenges in life. We've also had amazing, beautiful things, right? But it's like we carry the weight of the world on us as a parent sometimes, of like, we wouldn't necessarily want to have our kids know it. So you and I made a private comment, and I do want to talk about this because there's so many of us who are super optimistic that is a choice, that is a practice, that is a daily commitment. You and I are on social media as a light in the world, and we are damn aware of it. Like, we know that's a lot of what we're doing. But you and I have also talked about sometimes, and I don't say it often at all, in our quiet, private moments, it's a tough ride sometimes. And it's a little bit hard.
It is. It still is. I mean, look, yeah. I have endless at times amounts of energy, passion, love for life. But I'm also still a human being.
Absolutely.
So there still are moments in which, obviously, even today, that I still struggle and have challenges.
Me too.
But that's okay, and that's what I try to impress upon people is that you find ways to have such immense amount of optimism, positivity, and smile, even though life's not easy. You know, that's the beauty of it, is that through the challenges, life is still good and still a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yes, absolutely. And also because we're super positive and everything, it doesn't mean I won't give you a snap whoop ass or something in life if things aren't fair or whatever. So like I'm fierce. I'm like a fierce lover and I'm a fierce, right? And that's
I mean,
okay.
look, that's the reality. Is that I do feel like we all should have a little bit of inner badass in us. And look,
Yeah.
I do too. If somebody would cross one of my children, I mean,
Yeah.
look, you might get curb stomped. You know, so I mean,
everybody knows that about me. I am a mama bear, and I will say it to anybody's face, and I have the t-shirt, so not a problem. It's all good, right? But I think people misperceive optimism, you know, and thinking it's always this, oh, you're so nice and you let everybody. Oh, no, it's like a full range. We just choose to push forward the optimism piece and whatever.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You nailed it.
Yeah,
100%.
and you and I have a similar commitment. I might catch on this. I should have given you a heads up.
It's okay.
You did a post the other day about these are the commitments that I made in terms of authenticity, being raw. Do you remember that post?
I do. I pretty much said, look.
Tell us about that, because I did the same. That is me as well. And that's another place you and I resonate.
I think that when I made a commitment to open up my heart and share with the world, not only what my vision was in making people smile, but where my journey came from as far as a relationship with my daughter, you know, and losing a son, all of it, that I was going to be real. I was going to be authentic. I was going to be vulnerable. I was going to be original. I was going to be probably every cliche that you think about. But again, just telling people, as we've spoke about now, it's okay. This is life. So when I do it, it's all about being in the moment, being present, just leading with love and allowing it to go from there. It's not about any time that I choose to do a video with Maddie. It's one take. It's just being real. It's just being where we are in the car or anywhere in life. It's just what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a one taker. I totally agree with the one taker. Like you and I have talked about that. I'm not
one take. It's
yeah,
because that's what life's all about. It's not about trying to, you know, redo it 20 times to be perfect. It's just doing it and living it. It's
absolutely. And I appreciate that about you. You did that post, and I'm like, because you know, I share some things that are like pretty, oh my, people are like, oh my God, you know, like I only do that in my back room. And I'm like, yeah, this is me as a teacher. Like this kind of teacher I am, right? But I really resonate with you, and you and I do it differently and the same and all this beautiful stuff, you know, but I respect you for that, you know, that we're going to show a whole real life. And that's just our way of teaching and giving and sharing in the world, and all of those pieces. So do you want to tell people a little bit more of what are you doing specifically with the Smile Project Louisville? And I have told you this needs to go global. We'll come back to that after this. I'm gonna push you. So Sherry Savery is also the super pusher. If you're not on video, you already are. So I'm gonna push you somewhere else, and it's gonna be global. But you go ahead first.
So I'll take just one step back, you know, as I shared with everybody where we took pictures. I then literally had an epiphany a year ago, and it's a lot of what you see now when I started doing videos with or without my daughter, to where we had a vision of, if we were going to make people smile, well, why are we not doing random acts of kindness? So we do a lot of that. We just did one literally, and that's part of the faux pas being late. We did one right before we started this in just finding a random individual like it happened to me at Wendy's. So we're still moving forward with that. We take nominations. We love the randomness sometimes to where we don't know what we're doing, but we also do a lot of where people reach out to us. And here's a real example. I mean, I'm doing one Friday where a lady has worked for UPS for 39 years and has changed the lives of so many people that she has worked with. But sometimes in those moments too, we try to go make somebody else, you know, smile and feel love, you know, for what they have brought. So we have plans. You ask where we want to go. I mean, the intent literally 60 days ago was, the hell with it. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive this country, and I'm going to try to make as many people all over the country through what's going on feel loved and smile. Well, as we were headed that direction, then of course, COVID had other ideas where we thought maybe things were going for the better. And then a lot of places around the country had shifted. So that didn't happen. We're trying to figure that space out.
Find
You know,
another
as
way,
it relates to me, honestly, if it wasn't for some people going, no, you can't do it, I embrace it. I'm literally ready to get in the car and do it. But we're trying to figure out how we do some things safely and virtually. And as I do a lot of the things here in trying to do it safely, it's all about being outside. And, you know, I embrace wearing masks, but I also embrace wanting the human connection with someone else smiling. So we've done them all outside because in doing it from a safe distance. That's what I feel. I feel the love in seeing another human being, you know, smile. And as we got out of the car today and pulled out balloons, and we didn't know, we were at a car mechanic shop and we didn't know who we were going to do. And all of a sudden, this girl pulled her mask down and smiled, and I was like, "That's her." You know, immediately, you know, making that connection. So where we want to take it, there's been too many people that have been touched by what we've done to not take it outside of Louisville.
I have been telling you, let's do this. Okay, but let's back up 1 second, because you and I we're very passionate. We're probably both really ADHD, right? Of like,
I'm very
let's do this thing. So let's back up and explain to people what you're doing when you say we do this thing, so people can nominate, or you will pick people yourself. But then what are you doing? What are you doing when you go to the place, and what happens, in case people haven't seen your
so basically what we're trying to do in the moment is to bring them a level of love, positivity, kindness, and really at the end of the day, it's the mission of, in that short interaction, leaving someone smiling, that they can feel the love. So when you talk about nominations, you know, if they go to smileprojectlouisville.com, so when we first started making people smile through random acts of kindness, like we did this morning, it was just raw in the moment. We don't know who we're going to make smile. But as we started to create that platform, and then we put it out there to the world, people were then like, well, how do you get the names of people? Because again, people are going through so much, you know, we don't know what challenges they have. So a raw example is, you know, somebody reaching out to me and going, you know, Susan's battling stage 4 colon cancer. She's 28. She's a teacher. She, you know, she just needs some love. Or, you know, Chad and Angie lost a child, you know, and they need to feel loved, and they're struggling financially. Or Nettie, who works at the Circle K, is working 2 jobs and trying to take care of her mom at home who had a heart attack, you know. So again, it's a lot of people who are facing all kinds of things in life that just need to feel loved and smile. And look, a lot of it is financial. You know, people are struggling financially. So people who have blessed us in wanting to pay it forward to bless other people, we have taken that love, and then that's what we do. So what we do is we show up. You know, we bring all kinds of love and energy and passion, again, generally speaking, within 2 minutes. And I like to say it's like we're creating sometimes this really short reality show to where we show up unexpected, and you never know in the moment. You know, I've had people laugh, cry. I've had people, once the camera stops rolling, don't know how to process how a total stranger just showed up and gave them something. And then they start crying in the moment, because it's just leading from the heart and feeling the love. You know, so one of the hardest things that in being socially distanced is, you know, I understand what it was like doing it before COVID and after COVID, and wanting to hug people, because when I do it, I'm up all on people. They're hugging and they're feeling the love, you know. So, and one of the other special things that I really, you know, it goes back to probably when I did the pictures, is I want people to share something with the world in what makes them feel awesome. You know, because a lot of times we forget how amazing it's about self-love and how amazing we are. So I generally, when I get them laughing and get them feeling good about themselves, I'm like, all right, the girl this morning, Lene, tell the world something amazing about yourself.
You and I are still the same there. I love that. I love
and, you know, and it puts them on the spot. And she was like, you know what? I just think I'm awesome. And I'm like, you are.
Yes, absolutely. That is great. So, a couple things. There are financial pieces to this. So, you are oftentimes bringing these smile balloons. It might not be every time. I see you switch it up a little bit. So, there are balloons. There are lots of times gift cards that are in $50 at a time pops, What I know privately is that there have been people who have donated, which there's huge thanks and all of that for it. But I also know you have financially done a lot of it because you wanted to keep it going and it was important. And so why on your website you have the donations is so that people can contribute to keeping you and Maddie going or you going. And so I want you to go there and contribute. I'm a straight up pitch for you, right? So like I want Maddie and Michael going, and I want Maddie and Michael going global. That matters to me. If you were a business and you would consider sponsorship, because he doesn't have to get in a car right now, we can figure this thing out. Please contact Michael, because I think there should be some sponsorship here and we can do this in a unique, different way to keep you guys going. I think it is amazing. I thank you for everything you do. What I get a kick out of you about is businesses can learn a lot from you. So one of the things, I was a high school marketing teacher, right? So I have all the psychology and all this, whatever. And I watch you get out and I watch the people that are super averse to you at first, where they're like, oh, heck, this isn't happening, right? You're not, that's the pessimist that goes, who are you? Or right now it's scary for people because they feel like, oh my gosh, if someone's coming near me, it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah,
I am somebody who's like really doing bad in this whole COVID thing because I'm an extrovert, I'm physical, and like it's difficult. But I get a kick out of you every time because you don't quit till you get them. So you do the round, you do the joking, you do the whatever. You had a lady the other day in a tent that was like so averse. And I go, just watch him. He's going to win her over. Just watch him. And you don't give up and then they turn and it becomes this amazing embrace and physical thing of, oh my gosh, thank you. And you just watch. I'm so visceral. I watch each person you do this with, their whole body changes and their whole interaction changes and they end up thanking you after. And it is an amazing thing.
It is. And again, I've privately had some moments too, to where some are easier than others.
Yeah.
Some I've cried with people. Yeah. And I have to process kind of what's going on. But, I go into them and I had really from day one, it's not about how they're going to react. Yeah. Because again, everyone reacts totally differently.
Yeah. And you are in charge of that. You respect that. So I also like that about you.
I do.
And I love that you are a strong enough man that is both strong and gentle, that you can just dance through that. I call that, in real estate, I had to do a lot of these things, social media. I call it learning to dance with somebody. So like you in the moment are emotionally intelligent enough to go, and we are not necessarily knowing in the minute or understanding signals, right? But you're willing to live go, okay, what is this? And I'm just going to stay kind of calm in the moment. And you're committed to the thing. You're committed to the thing.
It is. And I look, I have a, call it a pregame ritual.
Yeah.
I usually take 20 to 30 seconds right before it goes down. And I have a private moment with myself. And this is just the faith-based side. Yeah. And I literally, as a Catholic boy, I say a couple of very simple prayers that are meaningful to me. And usually all I'm asking for in that moment is the right words to flow from my mouth in the moment, and that it's received with love, and let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. That is amazing. And I also love that. Like you and I connected there, where what I'm doing and what you're doing is going, please just let me serve this world as big and bad and beautiful as I possibly can in order for all of us to have an amazing experience here and get down to the humanness. Like at the center, we all have a heart that's not different for anybody, and
let me be vulnerable for a second, because there are two things that I've had to come to grips with. Yep. And that is number one, and you've said it multiple times in just interacting, and that is that I know that I'm amazing and awesome, but I have a hard time with praise.
Oh, so do I.
I have a hard time with. I do.
And
look, I get a lot. I get a lot of messages and things. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot easier to deal with it privately.
I don't even do well privately, but yes, and I hear you.
Because I can read it, but I guess on some level, that's what's really sustained me in keeping doing it. Because look, again, as the smile guy, I have my moments and going, hell far, maybe I have to go get a job and do something different. And then I get a message from somebody, and then I find myself crying, and it's that hell no moment. Hell no, am I going to go do something else? No, because this again is where God wants me. And the second thing is, and this is probably sometime during COVID, in which it's okay to ask for money. It's okay to ask for support. You know, and we talked about this last week, and really having a call to action and just going, look, if you're going to make it sustainable, you know, again, it's great that I have people giving me $20, $50, $100 and I go give it away, but then trying to figure out still, well, how do I make a living off of that? And you understand this too, because part of me, I did one last night. I celebrated my dinner with my kids last night, and we were at this amazing Cuban restaurant, and I walked outside. And the problem when you have a big ass heart is that there was a dude who was homeless and had a sign, and he looked at me and smiled. And then I'm just sucked in. It's like this
I'm done. And you want to come home with me? Yeah, I'm done.
So I get sucked in because I'm this people person, and I find myself, and when I asked him, and this is my ADHD kicking, and I'm trying to figure out now what was my reason in telling you
You're not
this,
alone. Just
as I'm sitting there having a moment with him, and I asked him what was amazing about himself. And I literally started crying when he told me he is a homeless guy. He's like, man, I just love people. He goes, you just sat down next to me. And he goes, honestly, yeah, I want $1, but I just love talking to you. And a lot of times that's being homeless. It becomes so disconnected, you know, socially with people. And honestly, I had a moral to that story, and I've already forgot it. That's the ADHD part.
I'm going to back you up because we're a good team. So I'm going to back you up. Part of our conversation was this thing about you and I both being uncomfortable to ask for the money of the payment part. You and I both give a tremendous amount of our heart, our professionalism, all
Okay, wait. So I've got it. I can't. So again, the ADHD kicks in.
It's right.
So the reason why I told that story when he said people is because I love being fully engaged with my community on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have, and it's a good problem, is when I put out content to inspire and impact lives, and a lot of people get involved, and you have 300 comments in one day. I fully believe engaging with all 300.
I engage. Yes.
So, and you know that. So when you're fully engaged with your audience and your people who now, like you, I've built relationships with such amazing people. It takes time.
Yes, it does.
It takes time to do that. But again, I feel blessed because I can probably say now I've met hundreds of such amazing people that it's not just Sherry. I know so much more about your life and what you're trying to do. But again, those things take time. And if you want it to be sustainable and it's about people, well, hell, it is about money too.
It is. And so
I got to pass around the collection plate, baby.
That's exactly right. And I'm the same as you. Like you and I have so many resonates, right? Like, you know, the compliment's uncomfortable to me. I just want to do the work and be gracious, right? I'm the give it all away queen. Like I've been that queen as a high school teacher forever. But at this, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. But at the same time, like we're doing great work. And I also don't agree with, I'm going to come out with a post next week about this whole idea of how we do funding and blah, blah, blah. But for you specifically, this is the great give and lesson of you're doing this work for other people. And so there's absolutely zero issue with you saying, would you like to contribute? Would you like to be able to keep us going? We'd like this thing to be bigger. I, for one, want to see this go global.
Let me tell you, and I've had moments because I've cried over it to where I'm sitting around and going, okay, and I made a commitment back in March to my girlfriend and my board. Now, I'm not a nonprofit, but I assembled a board because the plan was to be a nonprofit until COVID hit, was that, you know, I was going to try as best as I could to quit self-funding it.
It's hard.
I said, look, okay, I'm gonna quit self-funding it.
I know, it's hard.
But and it is hard. And I've had moments to which I've got down to $100, and my girlfriend will go, "What are you gonna do? You've got 3 planned." And I'm like, I don't know. God's gonna figure it out. And then literally 3 days later, somebody randomly sends me $500 out of nowhere and just says, I love you. I love what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. And then I'm just like, God is great. So it's like every time I have this moment to where we can't sustain it, something else amazing happens. But you said it earlier too, is that I've got to figure out a way too. I mean, look, we need all the people that give 20, 50, and 100, but I need that company like Lay's, who's Blaze. Somebody sent me a text the other day going, dude, look, your stuff's all over Lay's. And it's like, make someone smile right on the front of Lay's. And I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, how can I find a way to partner? Me and Maddie Moo going out on the streets, and so it's
hook us up,
okay.
People, hold on, hook us up. And
it's like, wait, you need Lay's to stroke that big check.
Yeah,
to be able to do so much more. Because again, going back to one other story is, I give a lot of times $50 and $100 away to people, but what about Chad and Angie, who have 6 other kids and they lost a kid and they can't financially get a damn tombstone? I'm like, how do we make them smile by getting them a tombstone? So it's not always about, yes, these are great, but yet there's sometimes the need in life is far greater than $50.
So I'm going to ask for you. This is how friends do this. This is how we collaborate. I'm going to straight up ask. Donate on his website, please. And we will put it in the post. Businesses, please contact Michael. He could be amazing inside your corporation, inside your business. Hey, Lay's, I could see Maddie and Michael on your chip bag. That would make a lot of people happy. I eat the Lay's Ruffles. Ooh, they get me in trouble. I like those with French onion dip. If I feel a little stressed, that's what I'm eating. So come on, Lay's, hook them up, right? Let's do that.
You know it. So, and look, I've often said, I don't want to, this is one of these crazy things. When I set out on this journey, I said, and I guess at the time I was 48, I'm like, look, I'm not an influencer. I don't want anybody I have to influence.
I don't like that word.
But yet, I guess what I've embraced is, okay, it's okay at the end going, God, we would love to thank our friends at Lay's for making this happen. Because, if it is then spending $1,000 to get a tombstone for a family, then God, I want to hug the people at Lay's too and thank them for making that happen and changing the life of somebody else.
Absolutely. This is awesome. So I would like to wrap this up with you telling me a little bit more about just Michael the man and the last 3 lessons you think you've learned by this place, because you've grown a lot over your time, which I so respect you for, and you've done so much great work and all of that. Like, you, the man at this stage and age, and hello, I'm in the Badass Club over 50, right? You know what? Hey, and I'm actually an expert panelist. You saw that this morning. I'm an expert panelist for over 50 Badass. It's a good position.
I love it, baby.
I'm going to try to represent for us. But
look, you look amazing. What, 52? Are you 52?
I'm 52.
You look amazing for 52.
Well,
52 is the new 30.
And my mom and dad and some clean living, I don't know, or a whole lot of fun, whatever. But here's my question for you. Like, what do you think by this beautiful, seasoned, all of full life and authentic and everything? What do you think the 3 things that have been just a lesson for you that you want to tell people or give people? Or
so I'm gonna go through a handful of things, and some of the things that I've learned along the way. Something that I learned just last week, and I'm gonna try to be as quick as I can. So just really quick, there's a company called Life is Good.
Yes, I love them.
Oh, did I tell you this last week?
No, I wear the T-shirt.
Okay,
I bought it immediately.
So literally, when I heard this story, I truly wanted to cry, because as I shared earlier, I started last year when I was making people smile on videos. I started saying, we make people smile because life is hard and not easy. And I say it all the time now. It's smiling through the challenges. And I had a conversation with a gentleman last week, and he goes, hey, have you heard of Life is Good? I'm like, well, hell yeah, man. Life is awesome. They sell all kinds of T-shirts and hats, and I see them on Jeeps on the back of the tires, and they're these stick figures. And he said, you know what they're all about?
Yes, I do, because I knew the article and I knew right when they came out, and I was one of the very first adopters. You tell everybody, though.
And I didn't.
Tell 'em.
And this is where literally in the moment I wanted to break down and cry, because he goes, man, the company really was all about optimism. I'm all like, okay. I'm like, what do you mean? Because what do you know their mission statement? And I'm like, no. And when he told it to me, this is that moment, because I felt like I've been living it as I make strangers smile. That is, life is not perfect. Life is not easy, but life is so good. Because we're given this gift. I know, little Daddy's crying. And it's so amazing. It's just how you look at it. And that's how, you can keep moving through such chaos in life and feel that it's awesome. So that's the first thing.
I love the passion with you. Like, you and I can cry together any day. But let me tell you one thing. Did you not know Life is Good started because they were an incredibly pessimistic company and couldn't take it anymore? And they quit.
All I heard was optimism in the mission statement.
Oh, no.
And I was just blown away.
Both those brothers, they were brothers. They worked at the most pessimistic corporate company. They could not take it and quit with nothing and went to go do this crazy thing. And I love them for that.
And now I will never look at that, and I'm on a mission as I want to talk about them now, of how beautiful that message is. And it goes so much deeper than as just seeing a t-shirt that life is good.
Yeah.
So the second thing is that one question that I started to get asked a lot in doing podcasts and interview is, do you remember what Chantrell said to you at the drive-thru?
Yeah.
And the first time I got asked that, I was like, hell no, I'm 50 years old. I mean, how am I going to remember 2 years ago to remember that moment? But what really resonated with me, and it's truly now the quote more than the thousands of quotes that I've read in my life that have inspired me. It's the number one thing, and it's what Maya Angelou said. And again, she had so many beautiful things that came out of her mouth from pen to paper. But she said, look, people will forget what you did. They will forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. And when I had time to reflect, and that's really what Chantrell did for me, and that's how I look in every situation where I go, make someone smile and hand them $50, and that's all great. But truly, it's how I make them feel is what I'm trying to really leave with them or anybody else.
Yep. You and I are the same on that.
And anybody else that watches what we do. Now, the third thing is that I don't live with any regret.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Yep. But I do look back in my life and wish, and I would challenge anybody out there that wants to create amazing change in their life. Yep. Don't wait.
Oh, yeah, don't wait.
Don't wait. Don't wait, because what you have to embrace, and we talked about it earlier, is that you are so amazing. And this thing up here, your mind is so powerful. Yeah. And if you want to create such overwhelming, everlasting change, damn it, go do it. Because I do look back, especially when my son died and my career fell apart, and I'm like, why didn't I work on me then? But why wasn't I in? Why did it take me 5 years to get in therapy and all the other things to really cultivate where I'm at right now in my life? And again, I guess I learned a lot, and I live with no regret whatsoever. But yet I look back and I would challenge anybody is that just do it.
And I love and respect you for that as well, because I say, as somebody who's been a life coach forever, teacher, whatever, I go, please be gentle with that man and that dad who was in that spot, who did the best that he could, who was handling something he's never handled before with the world on his shoulders, right? And at that moment, you were in the fire at the place and stage that you were at. Most people never walk out of the fire and turn the fuel of that pain, the pain into fuel. Most stay there and sit there. And you and I both have learned to take that pain and turn it into some really damn hot fire to help other people. That's a lot of what I do with all mine.
Baby, right? It ain't no fire, man. It's a forest fire. It's out of control. There's not enough water to put it out.
We should stay there. So it is beautiful. And I think that's great. And I'm with you. I don't regret. I have made decisions. I've had an interesting wild life, right? Of some of it. I don't regret it because it made me who I am. It made you who you are, right? right now. I want everybody to go check out his website, please, and go check out Maddie and everything that he's doing. Please remember the donation
Here,
button.
I want to.
I was gonna say, tell us the website one more time, and we'll put the link in there. Hi, Maddie. How are you?
Say hi. Hey, blow kiss. Blow kisses.
Oh, I am so happy to meet you. You do a wonderful
Hey, she's
job.
over here just tearing up a Frosty, and you're right. You're wearing it too, aren't you?
I'm so happy to meet you.
So, Smile Project.
So what is the website? And we will leave everybody. I have never smiled so much through a broadcast. I just want to tell you, like, I got tears in my eyes, my face hurts, but this is what you do. This is your magic. So what is that website?
It's smileprojectlouisville.com. And one of the things that I'm proud of with it is that even if you're not on social media, everything actually gets uploaded that we do into there. So you don't even have to be on social media. If I post something to LinkedIn, Facebook, any of the socials that I'm on, it goes right into there. You'll hear all about the stories, all the videos, pictures, everything that I've done over the last 2.5 years to try to just make a difference.
Thank you so much for sharing yourself, for letting us get a little on the backside of you, the man, as well. And I hope you have a beautiful day. I appreciate everything.
And you know what? I often say this is a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I believe, in that, in being grateful. So thank you for wanting to take time out in what you do to share what we do with your world. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Okay.
I never would have mentioned that social media. So thank goodness for that. All right. You have a great one.
All right. God bless you guys. See ya. Love y'all. Be good. All right. Take care. Bye.
Love you guys. Thank you.